Hey guys, this is Darren with Creativity Unleashed, and today I want to show you how to make this metal storage tank. This is a 734 gallon tank, but the principles could be used to build any size of tank you want. The tank was built with 3 sheets that are 5 by 10 by 3/32 inch thick, and it has 1.5 sheets to make the circumference and 1 sheet cut in half to make the top and bottom, which makes a 5 by 5 tank. This tank will show you guys how to roll it, how to make it, how to use the 2-part epoxy, paint it, get the whole thing done. Right here, we're also going to be showing you how to make a biodigester, which this is what we set it up for, to make methane gas to be able to cook off of and make fertilizer that comes out of this port here. So, without further ado, let's get into how to make this. So here we are unloading the sheets of metal. I decided to go with metal because the price of the tank would be about $230. Here's me and one of my helpers getting the sheets up onto the sawhorse. They're definitely manageable, not too much, a bit heavy though. So here I am going to be measuring out the center points of all of it and snapping some chalk lines so that I can see to cut the sheet in half, and then also mark the centers to be able to cut the circles out with the plasma cutter upcoming right here. And the plasma cutter that I'm using is a Hypertherm PowerMax 30, which is a very good portable plasma cutter, and is able to cut up to 1/2 inch steel and can cut about 40 inches a minute on 1/4 inch steel. So on this it 3/32 cuts it quite easily. So definitely recommend Hypertherm if you're looking for a plasma cutter. And it helps to always have a straight edge when you're doing plasma cutting here, using just some flat stock for that. So then what I did right here is I took a broom handle that I had laying around, drilled a hole in it, put a bolt in it, and so I was able to just drill a hole in the center of the sheet and put the bolt through it that the broom handle's hooked onto with the plasma torch zip tied and clamped on there nicely, to be able to cut nice precise circles quite conveniently here. So of course we're cutting out 2 circles, and then one of them will actually have the opening to be able to get inside the tank, because in my opinion painting the inside of a tank, if it's going to have anything that besides like oils that would protect it itself, it's going to definitely need painted. So we'll cut another circle, and I didn't actually catch that on film, so you get the idea what that is going to be like. So grinding off any dross from the plasma cutting, very minimal, but it always helps keep a nice clean weld when you have the metal good and clean and properly. Always makes for a better weld team, very important. So right here, we have the sheet laid on the floor. I got one side welded up a little bit. So we just start welding and rolling the wheels. And you'll probably need a couple people for this, unless you really are clever. To be able to get good tension on both sides as you roll it up, essentially. If you're using much thicker steel, you might have to run it through a roller machine or roundo type machine. So we're just putting short tack welds to be able to, so we don't over warp the material, overheat it while we're getting the shape rolled out. We found it quite helpful to be able to put some bits to help support from the bottom so that they'd have to do less pulling with their arms. And just as you keep rolling it, keep pushing that back under there so they have less work on them against the metal, less pulling. So here I got a time lapse of actually getting it rolled together. So we have basically 4 people here working on it for a while. It took a few hours to get the whole thing done. So right here we have one sheet of the tank put on, as you can see, and it's winning great, and it was actually quite easy. It only took a few minutes to get that done. Well, 20 minutes or so, I'd say. And so I'd almost recommend to have had both sheets welded together ahead of time, but we just welded the next one together and butted it up, and then continued rolling it as far as we could so that I wasn't stuck inside. And then we finished rolling it up, and we plasma cut off the extra piece of it, which I didn't capture in time lapse. So here is actually welding up the seams from the outside, and I decided, because I like welding and I like things to last a long time, work well, to weld everything inside and out. But that probably wouldn't be necessary without then the metal actually is being only 3/32. And we're doing a lot of hammering as well to just help make sure we keep a nice round consistent shape, because it wanted to be a little bit more bowed out slightly. So even though this is pretty heavy and big, two of us are able to, with a little effort, tip it and move it around to work on it. So to actually work inside of a tank, you should always have a respirator as well as a very good supply of air. So I'm using a vacuum here with a swimming pool hose. I'm pushing air instead of pulling it with all the filters and stuff taken out and the vacuum cleaned out ahead of time. So that's able to push a lot of air. Also, this is the hole that was plasma cut in, and I'm going to plasma cut out in just a second the actual lid that'll go over the top. You can see right here we're plasma cutting this out of 1/4 inch so that it'll be more rigid and work better. And we'll also, after we drill the holes, which are coming up right here, I use the press drill to drill holes in the lid, and then now I'm copying that pattern over with a hand drill, and then I'll weld in stainless steel bolts from the bottom. So then finishing up the welds on the outside with 7018, I had some extra laying around, so just for those up. And then here inside the tank, MIG welding some of the seams. Some downhill MIG welding, which is a lot faster and keeps the seams nice and flat and smooth, a little easier than going uphill, if you have experience doing that. And like I said before, it's always important to make sure you have a respirator and a vacuum or something pushing a lot of air in to make sure you don't get overtaken by fumes. So just climbing out and getting things finished up here, running the 7018s on the bottom of the tank. So this is going to be I think a 3-part series. This is the first video on, of course, building the tank. The next one I'll show you guys how to do like the lid, finish up the lid, and do all the painting and all the parts for doing the biodigester. We'll be more focused on biodigester and doing the 2-part epoxy painting. So remember to check out the next video. I should be uploading soon for all the rest of the bits on the tank. So thank you so much for watching, and have a lovely day.